It's a pleasure to have you on the Fans channel. I invite you to subscribe to stay updated with all the daily news about the Las Vegas Raiders, our favorite NFL team. Now, let's dive straight into today's news. Exclusive news from the Las Vegas Raiders. Martavis Bryant, the talented receiver who's shown with the Pittsburgh Steelers, is determined to make a comeback to the NFL in the 2024 season. After a forced hiatus due to suspensions, Bryant has expressed his fervent desire to return to the game he loves and prove that he still has plenty to offer on the field. Following a 5-year suspension, Bryant was reinstated into the league last November. Although he had the opportunity to join the Dallas Cowboys practice squad, he unfortunately did not secure a spot on the active roster during the 2023 season. Despite signing a futures contract with the Cowboys, his time in Dallas came to an end in May following the addition of several talented rookie receivers. Throughout his journey back to the NFL, Bryant also had a brief stint with the Commanders and met with Jim Caldwell, the experienced assistant from the Carolina Panthers, in an attempt to secure a contract with the team. Despite these efforts, his future in the league remains uncertain. Bryant's NFL journey began with the Steelers, where he quickly stood out after being selected in the 4th round of the 2014 draft. In his first 2 seasons, Bryant caught an impressive 14 touchdowns, plus 2 more in playoffs, before facing a suspension that sidelined him for the entire 2016 season. Despite this setback, he returned in 2017 to tally over 600 receiving yards. But his time in Pittsburgh came to an end when he was traded to the Raiders in 2018 in exchange for a 3rd-round pick. However, his time in Oakland was tumultuous due to another suspension in 2018. Since then, Bryant has struggled to return to the NFL, participating in alternative leagues such as the CFL and XFL in an effort to stay active and prove his worth as a player. Entering the 2024 season at age 33, Bryant faces the reality that time for a triumphant comeback may be running out. Nevertheless, his determination and love for the game remain strong, and he is ready to seize any opportunity that comes his way to demonstrate that he can still be a competitive force in the NFL. Martavis Bryant, the talented receiver who's shown with the Pittsburgh Steelers, is determined to make his epic return to the NFL in the 2024 season. After overcoming adversity and showcasing his determination, Bryant seeks to prove that he still has plenty to offer on the field. What are your thoughts on his comeback? Subscribe, like, and let us know your opinion in the comments.
So Max Crosby was recently on video saying that he has exhausted every single resource he has to go into this next season and possibly have the best season of his career. Max Crosby is saying that he wants to go into this next season and be better than this past season. Now I want to talk about this past season a little bit, because this past season that Crosby had was incredible. And what's even more incredible is the guy did it basically being hurt the entire season. By week 2, Max Crosby hurt his left knee, and then he was basically banged up for the rest of the season, but the guy still went on to have an incredible season. And I don't think people realize how great Max Crosby was this past season. When it came to his pass rush, Max Crosby was absolutely incredible. From a pass rush technique perspective, I don't think there's a better player in the NFL that has more tools in the toolbox than Max Crosby. You know, Max Crosby will double hand swipe and he'll quickly win. Just straight up, right? He'll get off the edge, he'll double hand swipe, and it's a win for him. He'll get to the quarterback. And if it's not a double hand swipe, maybe he'll use a hezzy move, right? He'll get out of his stance. He'll start pass rushing. He'll start going upfield. He'll fake a move to the inside. The tackle falls for it. Then he jumps back to the outside. He gets to the quarterback. If it's not that, maybe he'll pair it up. He'll hezzy to the inside. He'll potentially go to the outside, and then he'll spin back to the inside. Max Crosby has every single pass rush move that, in my opinion, exists out there. There's nothing I have not seen Max Crosby do. And what's crazy is this guy has an insane amount of bend that I feel like I didn't see from him in the past, but I saw it this season. There was a play specifically against the Pittsburgh Steelers that stood out to me. Max Crosby basically got double teamed, and there was a part within the pass rush where Max Crosby got double teamed, he started going back just a little bit, and the tackle felt that he can lean into Max Crosby because Crosby was naturally going back. Somehow this guy shifted his momentum. Somehow he was able to bend past this tackle. The tackle leaned forward, Crosby hit the corner, and he just went right by this guy. To me, the fact that Max Crosby is 6'5", 275 plus pounds, the fact that he's so big and strong and he's able to move like that is incredible. To me, that is absolutely incredible. But that's the type of player that the Las Vegas Raiders have. Max Crosby is legitly probably the best pass rusher in the NFL from a pure technique perspective, right? Obviously, I think if you ask offensive tackles in the NFL, who's the hardest player to block, I think some people might say Myles Garrett's the hardest player to block, and I've actually spoken to guys in the NFL that have stated that. I think Myles Garrett's different in terms of his build, right? He's super fast, super explosive, but he's arguably one of the strongest defensive linemen in the NFL as well. You pair that together and it's hard to block. But I think from a pure pass rush technique, from the hand-to-hand combat that this guy plays with, the way this guy is able to get after the quarterback, I think is probably the best in the NFL. And what's crazy about Max Crosby is that's just the pass rush aspect of it. People don't realize Max Crosby has overtaken DeMarcus Lawrence and Khalil Mack as the best run defender in the NFL. Historically speaking, if you go back 8 years, I think DeMarcus Lawrence was the best run defender, and he's always been great over the course of his career, right? It's never like he fell off. He's always been one of the top 2 or 3 guys when it came to defending the run. Khalil Mack was, in my opinion, about 4 years ago, took over as the best run defender. And I think Max Crosby has now taken over as the best run defender. Max Crosby, I think when he first came out, was not that good against the run. I thought, coming out of college, he was always a phenomenal pass rusher, specifically with the hand-to-hand pass rush technique he had. I think he struggled against the run early on, but I think by year 3, he became a really good run defender, and I think this past season, at least for me, he's become arguably the best run defender in the NFL. When you look at Max Crosby's stats, the guy ranked number 1 by Pro Football Focus against the run. The guy also statistically, he had 58 run stops, which ranked first, right? So Max Crosby is making the most plays that are positively impacting the run in the NFL. To me, that's incredible. That stat. And when you analyze linebackers, the stat you look at is, especially to analyze their run defense, is going to be run stops, right? So if it's 3rd and 2, are they making the play before the offense picks the first down up? If they make the tackle before the offense picks the first down up, that counts as a run stop. If the offense picks up 3 yards on 3rd and 2 and they get the first down, and the linebacker makes the tackle or the D tackle makes the tackle, whatever it is, it won't count as a run stop. It'll just count as a tackle. So Max Crosby 58 times last year made an impactful play for the Las Vegas Raiders. I would argue Max Crosby is the best run defender in the NFL. He's arguably, one of the top 2 or 3 pass rushers. I think he has the best technique. I think Max Crosby going into this next year is going to potentially be the best defensive player in the NFL. I think there's a chance this guy overtakes Myles Garrett this next season. I would argue for Max Crosby over TJ Watt, over Nick Bosa. And I think I'm a pretty unbiased Raider fan where I would admit that I think Myles Garrett may be the best defensive player right now in the NFL. But I think there's a chance Max Crosby overtakes that. And I think there's a chance Max Crosby ends up winning Defensive Player of the Year as we go into this next season. Max Crosby's never been a top 3 guy in the voting, right? He's never even had he has 7 votes and the number 1 guy has 30 or whatever it is. And then Max Crosby ranked 2nd. The guy's never been in consideration for top 3. And I was surprised he wasn't in consideration for top 3 this past season because this was the best year that Max Crosby had. And what's crazy about all of it is the guy had some major injuries, right? Since week 2, the guy banged up his left knee. The guy was hurt all year this year. Max Crosby even talked about it. He went on to give us some insight into his injury. Check out what he had to say.
It's part of the game. I played hurt many times in my career. And yeah, the knee was something I had to deal with, but it was just a part of that season. It was part of the story. At the end of the day, I don't control any of that. I'm going to play one way regardless, whether I'm 100% or 90% or whatever it is. So yeah, it's been a different offseason. I had to get 2 major surgeries, and it's been different, but at the end of the day, there's not one street to get to where you want to go. There's multiple. And for me, I had to trust the people around me, trust my team, everyone involved, and get me back to 100%. And then also taking that next step, and I feel like I've definitely done that. I've been training. We started in January 22nd is when we started going. So, you talk about fight camps and fighting guys, maybe 3 months, 4 months. I do it 365. So that's why I feel like at the end of the day, my consistency is what separates myself. and it will only keep getting me better because I don't leave, any stone unturned.
Max Crosby said that during practice, he was damn near limited every single day, right? Every single day, this guy was damn near limited, and he had to get 2 major surgeries. To me, that's crazy that Max Crosby had the season he had, with the fact that he had 2 pretty damn crazy injuries, because you don't generally see that happening where a guy has that type of injury. Max was even doubtful in one of the weeks and he still ended up playing. You don't get that, right? Max Crosby, effort, pass rush technique, run defense, the mindset this guy plays with, that killer mindset. Not a lot of guys have that Kobe Bryant mindset, right? Michael Jordan, that killer mentality, but Max Crosby has that. And I appreciate it so much. And the fact that this guy was hurt, he played through it, he's going to go into this next season. And in this next season, he wants to have an even better year than last year, is absolutely incredible. And I'm very, very excited for Max Crosby. I think there's a chance this guy does truly become the consensus, right? Everybody says, yeah, Max Crosby's the guy. He's the best player in the NFL. I think there's a chance that happens this year. I think he's in his prime. He's at the top of his game. The guy's been dominating the NFL, and I think people are really starting to notice. And I'm excited to see what the Raiders actually do on the defensive side, because I would say for the first time, we have an actual threat on both the outside and inside opposite of Max Crosby, right? When you look at the Rams, for example, Aaron Donald's always had good guys around him. When you look at the Chiefs have always surrounded Chris Jones with guys around him. And I think for the very first time this year, Max Crosby kind of gets that. And I think when you think about that alone, that's going to help Max Crosby become really, really good. And that's not even considering the fact that the guy himself is phenomenal. All right, so I'm very, very excited for Max Crosby. Do you guys think he's going to have a great season this year? Do you think it'll be better than last year? Statistically, last year was phenomenal. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.